This is the Battle of Lemonum, where I picked the Boii, and my opponent, 1453 Chatagay Kagan, countered with Epirus. And you can see I brought a fairly strange Epirote build. I haven't seen that particular build before, but seeing how he deployed and how he used his army, I think this was a very conscious counter to the Boii that he thought would work fairly well. And I can kind of see how it could work if the Boii doesn't come prepared to face this. So, my army consists of fairly standard stuff: 4 Oathsworn. I think I have 4 Sword Followers. Yep, 4 Sword Followers. 2 units of Levy Freemen, 2 units of Spear Warriors, 2 Heavy Horse, and a Celtic Skirmisher. And these guys are going to hold the rear. I'm going to move up and claim this forest here. And already I can see a lot of strange stuff coming out of the woods. We have Illyrian levies, 6 of those, 2 militia hoplites, 2 Thessalians, 1 Aspis companion, don't see those often anymore. And then we have mercenary Indian war elephants, more militia hoplites. So I figure that my opponent here is going to go for a surround, and I'm actually going to let him surround me, because I think that might work to my advantage if I am able to do it over here. And that's going to be pretty important for how the battle is going to go, because neither of us has any skirmishers to speak of. So this is going to be a pretty much all-out brawl, and I quite like those. So he has 3 Aspis companion cavalry, and I think that's a huge risk, putting that much in these 3 units. And he also has this Royal Peltas unit, which is going to do fairly well, I think. The important thing for me here is going to be keeping my cavalry close to my own lines and protect my rear with all of these spear units. So judging by how my opponent deploys, it looks like he's going to go straight in with these guys and then go around with these guys. And that can potentially be very dangerous, to get caught between Aspis companions and Thessalians. That can really hurt my swords. So I'm going to have to keep them away from my backlines as well as I can, and also use these skirmishers to maximum effect against the elephants. Because I only have 1 unit of javelins, but that should be enough to take care of the elephants if the javelins don't get destroyed first. So I'm going to go into the woods here, move forward a bit. And it looks like my opponent is just setting up for a straight up rush here to eat the charge with these Illyrian levies, possibly get these guys in first and then charge in with the Illyrian levies. So he has a pretty decent setup here, because if I charge his Illyrian levies, he's going to be able to countercharge with both Aspis and elephants, and that could potentially be very dangerous for my guys. So already he's posting guys at the rear. He also has a unit of citizen cavalry. I'm going to move up slightly, because I presume he doesn't want to engage me when I am in the woods. So I want to present a slightly easier target for him. But as you can see, I will have the advantage of elevation on my side here. That can potentially be pretty important, especially here. And he's also going to have to charge through the woods, which is going to reduce some of the effectiveness of his cavalry and his elephants. So keeping a strong back line of spears and cavalry here, that's going to be able to stop any cavalry that gets too close. And presenting a strong front line of these elite and mid-tier swords. Now they don't have any really good targets to go for, so I'm just going to be patient. I don't want to waste my charges on these Illyrian levies, so I'm thinking I maybe should just hold and then shield wall when the charge comes, to be able to brace against the coming onslaught. Because if I charge, I'm going to be vulnerable to the counter charge of this Aspis and the elephants mainly. So he's moving up. Looks like he's going to try to move around on this side. I have my Levy Freemen here just to harass cavalry a bit. And here he comes with his Thessalians, so I'm going to send out my spear warriors to kind of dissuade them from getting any closer to my lines. The same here against the citizen cavalry, and here comes the charge. He's charging straight in, and I'm going to go into shield wall to try to reduce the effectiveness of his charge. His guys are going to make it through, because I activated shield wall just a bit too late. So sword followers took some, they took some casualties on the charge, but nothing major. My Oathsworn were able to brace fairly well, and now he's going to lose Aspis very quickly, both to skirmish fire and to being in combat against my Oathsworn. So I'm going to use my general's abilities, chase away his cavalry in the backlines. Do the same here, try to stop the cavalry, but these are only levy free men, so they're going to go up against these Illyrian levies, and they're probably going to lose. Just trying to hold as best I can, while the elephants are running amok in his own lines here. So that's going to be pretty important, because I'm going to be able to throw javelins at the elephants the entire time. The Aspis is going down quickly to elephant fire and to javelins, and he's losing another unit of Aspis. The citizen cavalry comes in, but kind of gets stopped by elephants and by skirmish fire. So he is able to rear charge me here, and that could be very dangerous when I'm losing the battle and when there are elephants. So my sword followers are starting to waver, but they stabilized pretty quickly because they're able to get nice kills. Over here my levy freeman and my horse cleared up a unit of Thessalians, another unit of Thessalians going down here. Militia hoplites against spear warriors. The spear warriors should win that, but they are also engaged against these Illyrian levies. And now cavalry is coming in and taking out my skirmishers, but that was a bit too late, because the elephants already took a lot of damage. These guys are on shield wall, so they're going to be very slow in getting through my guys, and they're going to take damage while they do it. So I was able to neutralize his elephants fairly effectively, but his surround is kind of working. Able to stop these militia hoplites with my levy freemen, but his infantry is of course dying really quickly. His royal peltas are also losing, and I wonder how many friendlies these elephants took down. Now his infantry line is wavering. His shock tactics didn't work because I was able to go into shield wall. I'm going to rally my guys, increase their morale a bit for the oncoming elephant onslaught. But the elephants aren't really able to maneuver effectively since there are so many horses and shield walls around. Still getting some kills, but nothing huge. Not nearly enough. Now the elephants are in my back line, but there are heavy horse there as well. And I'm just going to charge the elephants, and that should take them down very quickly, because they are stopped here. So my Oathsworn charging in are actually going to be able to deal with the rest of these mercenary Indian war elephants, because they can't move. They are stopped by his own cavalry and my cavalry. So now there's not much left on the field for my opponent. And Aspis going down very quickly, not getting a huge amount of kills. Frontal charging with Aspis is not their strong suit. I think maybe it would have been better with Hellenic Royal Cav, but still charging in like this is very dangerous when you don't have a good follow-up. And the shield wall can really stop rushes like this from breaking through, and then they'll be able to grind out the kills. Militia hoplites going down quickly. The flanks of Illyrian levies are also going down. No really high level infantry to follow up the first initial rush, so that's a problem with going with cav that is this expensive. And it kind of could have worked, this type of rush, but it's not a build that I would have put much faith in, to be honest, because it does require pretty specific conditions in order to work. The heavy horse charge is somewhat stopped by these dying elephants lying around, but still able to take out a lot of Illyrian levies and almost destroy the Aspin's companions. So these heavy horse were a very valuable asset in this battle. Militia hoplites are going to die to Oathsworn, and the Aspin's companions are still alive, but they aren't getting a huge amount of kills here, and that's the end of the battle. So it was Chatagay Kagan, 1453, so maybe I said Chatagay Kagan, but it's Chatagay Kagan. Don't know how to pronounce that. So his Aspis didn't do too well in this frontal charge. His Illyrian levies that were up against levy freemen did well. Nothing did really amazing here, but that's because this is a fairly small army and units with low morale that rout fairly easily. Elephants, nothing too amazing. So the tactic that my opponent used here was, I would file it under pretty interesting, but it's going to be difficult to make it work, I think, and especially if there are elevation differences on the map and forests and stuff like that. But good game to Chatagay Kagan, and thanks for watching. I'll see you again on the battlefield.